A man in Virginia recorded several strange lights drifting across the sky. A moment later, something happened that froze everyone watching. One of the objects dropped low over the trees and moved with sharp, quiet turns that didn't match any aircraft people know.
All right, well, I'm glad I have witnesses. I don't know what that is.
That's true, they're super close together. But they're flying like normal, though.
But they're like in the perfect line.
The sighting is now being linked to the Wytheville wave from 1987, when hundreds reported the same thing. With fake clips and AI hoaxes everywhere, this footage stands out. Are these sightings real or another trick? UFO over Virginia spotted.
Take a video.
What is that? No.
A Virginia man captured footage of a mysterious aerial object that left him, and now the internet, asking what exactly is flying above the state. The sighting happened late at night, when the man noticed unusual lights in the sky while walking near his backyard. Pulling out his phone, he recorded several seconds of what he described as an impossibly large, triangular-shaped craft hovering silently in the sky. According to the witness, the UFO appeared to emit a soft blue and white glow, with lights positioned at each corner of its triangular frame. It was huge, completely silent, and didn't move like any airplane or helicopter made by humans. One moment, it was above the trees, and the next, it seemed to disappear. The picture that was leaked shows the object hovering above a cluster of bare trees, with its lights pulsating. Even worse, another video from Virginia has emerged, showing the same UFO hovering over a small hill with a lot of trees. It looked like a triangle with a circular bottom and made no sound as it moved silently. The UFO had no wings, propeller, or exhaust, and it was clear that this wasn't human-made. Some experts are skeptical about the footage, saying that it could be a trick of light, a drone, or a reflection from nearby sources. After all, the human eye can be easily fooled at night, especially when bright lights are involved. However, ufologists and UFO researchers are treating the footage with a different perspective. This sighting defies conventional explanation. The object's size, shape, and silent hovering capabilities easily remind you of technology that is far beyond current human aerospace engineering. It soon disappeared right in front of them and is the latest in the UFO sightings in Virginia. In fact, Virginia has seen a lot of UFO sightings over the years, from glowing lights and orbs to strange craft. Some of its towns have been plagued with UFO sightings for years, and scientists are connecting the latest UFO sighting to the infamous Wytheville incident. Wytheville incident. In October 1987, the quiet Appalachian town of Wytheville, Virginia, became the focus of one of the most remarkable and widely reported UFO flaps in East Coast history. The unusual series of events began on October 7, 1987, when Sheriff Wayne Pike and 4 law enforcement officers, 3 of whom were former military personnel, reported seeing strange, unidentified lights in the night sky over Wythe County. Their account was revealed by local radio reporter Danny Gordon on WYVE, initially as a light-hearted news item, but it triggered an unprecedented wave of UFO sightings and public response. Within hours after Gordon released his broadcast, his phone lines were flooded with calls from residents reporting similar unexplained UFOs. The descriptions varied widely, as some people saw brightly lit dome-shaped crafts, glowing spheres, and triangular and egg-shaped objects with multicolored lights. Many witnesses revealed that the objects were silent, defying conventional aircraft behavior, and appeared at very low altitudes so they could see the UFO clearly. Gordon and commercial pilot Roger Hall then embarked on their own skywatch later that month. They reported observing and later photographing an oblong, wingless object illuminated with colored lights, which moved very slowly before it disappeared into a cloud bank. Over the course of the weeks, thousands of sightings were reported, causing local press conferences, and it even attracted national attention. The region's UFO was prominent enough to be featured in different television programs, as it had multiple eyewitness accounts from citizens and law enforcement alike. Skeptics at the time argued that many of the sightings could be related to military aircraft operations, such as aerial refueling flights or misidentified conventional objects, but local witnesses said that they couldn't explain the unusual maneuvers, lack of sound, strange shapes, and even the fact that they saw the UFOs very closely. Ever since the Wytheville incident in Virginia, many experts and ufologists are questioning which UFO sightings are real and which ones are fake. After all, there have been many hoaxes out there, and skeptics always come out with so-called rational explanations. But one of the realest UFO sightings out there was the Roswell UFO, which experts are unable to understand to this day. Roswell Crash Site. The Roswell crash site happened on the remote ranch land near Roswell, New Mexico, where, in July 1947, a rancher named W. Mac Brazel discovered bizarre debris scattered across his property. The wreckage consisted of light, metallic materials like tin-foil-like fragments, rubber strips, wood, and shiny paper-like pieces that he couldn't identify. So, he called the local sheriff, who contacted the nearby Roswell Army Airfield. Soldiers recovered the material and transported it away to investigate and examine it. On July 8, 1947, the RAF issued a press release stating it had recovered a flying disc, a phrase that was picked up by newspapers and ignited public fascination. Shortly afterwards, the military retracted the statement, saying that the debris came from a crashed weather balloon. The sudden reversal of their statement is what caused many people to further suspect them. In the 1990s, the U.S. Air Force admitted that the object was related to Project Mogul, a top-secret program that used high-altitude balloons to detect Soviet nuclear tests, which is why they didn't want to disclose the details. Despite this, many people continued to believe that it was extraterrestrial, especially with the original flying disc announcement and the strange materials found on the site. Do you think the UFO sighting was real or fake? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Trinity UFO case. Another shocking UFO sighting that many experts say looks real is the Trinity UFO case, which is a controversial and widely debated claim that a UFO crashed near the Trinity nuclear test site in New Mexico in August 1945, just weeks after the first atomic bomb detonation. The UFO sighting was revealed by José Padilla and Ramigo Baca, who said when they were 9 and 7 years old, they heard a loud crash while searching for a lost cow and discovered something shocking. There was a large metallic, avocado-shaped craft embedded in the desert soil. They remembered that they saw small humanoid beings inside the wreckage, and later on, they revealed something even more shocking. They witnessed a military recovery operation that removed both the craft and its debris. They kept it a secret for a long time, but later made it popular in a book titled Trinity, The Best-Kept Secret, by Jacques Vallée and Paola Harris, who said this was an early UFO crash, probably coming before the Roswell incident by 2 years. Although it has some credibility, the problem is the lack of documentation, like the military records, local newspapers, official reports, and more. But not all shocking UFOs were spotted without detailed evidence, as once even astronauts saw a UFO right in space. Apollo 11. Moonlight UFO. The Apollo 11 Moonlight UFO is one of the most shocking sightings ever seen, as astronauts on the historic 1969 mission found themselves face-to-face with a UFO during their trip to the Moon. During Apollo 11's translunar coast, the 3-day journey from Earth to the Moon, the crew found an object outside their spacecraft, and they couldn't identify it. In NASA mission transcripts, Commander Neil Armstrong asked Mission Control about the location of the Saturn V rocket's SIVB third stage, which had been jettisoned earlier. Mission Control replied that the SIVB was several thousand miles away. That's what caused many people to question whether it was an alien vehicle. Buzz Aldrin, the famous astronaut, revealed many times that there was a light following their spacecraft for a while. But the light was unidentified, and they couldn't see what was causing it. Aldrin didn't believe that it was from aliens or extraterrestrial sources, and said that it was probably the sunlight reflecting off discarded rocket panels from the mission's own booster. Despite this, the Apollo 11 mission remains one of the most thoroughly documented achievements in human history, with lunar samples, telemetry data, and independent tracking by other space agencies confirming that it really happened. This is just as credible as another strange UFO sighting that happened in the UK, this time with a whole lot of evidence that left skeptics unable to explain. Rendlesham Forest, UFO. The Rendlesham Forest UFO incident, also known as Britain's Roswell, is one of the most shocking UFO sightings in the world so far. In late December 1980, in a stretch of woods near RAF Woodbridge and Bentwaters in Suffolk, England, where U.S. Air Force personnel were stationed. In the early hours of December 26th, military security guards, including Staff Sergeant Jim Peniston, Airman John Burroughs, and Airman Ed Kabansang, were sent to investigate strange and unusual lights reported in the forest. It started as the search for a downed aircraft, but it quickly became one of the most debated UFO cases in modern history. Witnesses described multicolored lights moving through the trees, and as they approached a clearing, they found something they didn't expect. It was a triangular, metallic craft resting close to the ground. Nearby farm animals reacted with unusual agitation, and radio communications immediately experienced strange interference. When the object lifted silently and vanished through the woods, the men returned to base shaken. 2 nights later, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt, deputy commander of the base, led a larger team back into the forest, and they recorded unexplained lights, elevated radiation readings at the alleged landing site, and orbs in the sky during a systematic investigation. The observations were documented on audio tape, and then the memo was sent to the UK Ministry of Defence. The case gained an extraordinary twist years later when Peniston revealed that during his close encounter he experienced a mental download of binary code. It was a sequence of ones and zeros that seemed to play through his mind after contacting the craft's surface and symbols. Troubled by persistent images, he later wrote the sequence down in his notebook, where it remained private for decades. In 2010, researchers finally found the code and tried to decode it. They found out that it had strange messages, geographical coordinates, and references to ancient sites and cryptic phrases. But some ufologists stand by this UFO sighting, especially since in the days after the event, Peniston and others who saw the UFO fell sick with sleeplessness and nausea. It was clear that something had happened to them in that forest, something that many people don't believe. Others note that these extraordinary claims emerged many years later, long after the original sightings, and say that there isn't enough documentation to support the story. This has caused some skeptics to suspect that the UFO they saw was simply lights from the nearby Orford Ness Lighthouse, but this doesn't explain a lot of what happened. Despite decades of scrutiny, Official UK defence files have concluded the incident posed no threat to national security, and the Ministry of Defence did not pursue it further, leaving Rendlesham Forest as a rich, unresolved chapter in UFO lore that continues to fascinate and divide researchers and skeptics alike. Not only in the UK, but around the world, there are credible UFO sightings out there. One of these is the Tic-tac incident, where a shocking UFO that looked exactly like a tic-tac was spotted. Tic-tac incident. The Tic-tac incident is a now famous encounter between U.S. Navy aviators and an unidentified aerial phenomenon off the coast of Southern California on November 14, 2004. During routine exercises about 100 nautical miles southwest of San Diego, the USS Nimitz Carrier Strike Group, including the guided missile cruiser USS Princeton, began tracking mysterious radar contacts that defied explanation. Radar operators saw objects drop rapidly from altitudes above 80,000 feet to near the ocean surface in an instant. The behavior was inconsistent with any known aircraft or atmospheric phenomenon. The Navy said that these detections were anomalous aerial vehicles. The FA-18F Super Hornet fighters were vectored to intercept. Commander David Fravor, a Top Gun graduate, and his wingman, Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich, soon saw one of these objects visually. It was a smooth, white, wingless object, roughly 40 to 50 feet long with the shape of a tic-tac candy. Fravor described it as having no visible propulsion system, exhaust, or control surfaces, yet it hovered and moved with sudden accelerations and erratic changes in direction that he had never seen in a normal aircraft. As Fravor went closer, the object accelerated away at a shocking speed before it disappeared from sight. The encounter was corroborated by pilot testimony and also by radar tracking and infrared footage taken by a second jet equipped with a forward-looking infrared camera. This footage was declassified and released publicly years later, after being kept a secret for a long time. It shows an object matching the description performing quick, unexplained movements. In the years after the incident, multiple Navy personnel have claimed that data recordings and additional footage were secretly erased as part of a cover-up, as the military didn't want many to know about the UFO. The U.S. government took the sightings seriously enough to include them in broader investigations into unidentified aerial phenomena. But official reports have stopped short of identifying the object as extraterrestrial or foreign technology. A 2021 intelligence assessment found no evidence that the observed phenomena were alien spacecraft, nor did it provide a definitive alternative explanation. Even in the most shocking places, UFO activity has been revealed to be very high, like in Antarctica. Antarctica frozen disk. Enthusiasts scanning Google Earth and similar mapping services have repeatedly pointed out that they saw unusual shapes and dark patches in the endless white expanse of Antarctica and claimed that they looked like disc-shaped objects partially buried in ice. They suspected that it was a remnant of an extraterrestrial craft or a secret installation hidden beneath the frozen surface. One such anomaly was described as a circular structure with a strange outline and dark interior, located near Mill Island and interpreted by some UFO researchers as a metallic disk emerging from the ice. But the problem is that these sightings are usually pixelated and low-resolution images where shadows, terrain features, or abrupt changes in ice texture are easy to misinterpret. Many caution that Antarctica is dynamic, and so the snow and ice can form in different ways that look like a UFO from on top. Some reports from Antarctica also point to fast-moving silver objects and unexplained phenomena near research stations. Ufologists have put forward some theories that suggest that Antarctica's sterile environment mirrors Mars, making it a potential base or resting spot for ancient Martian civilizations. But if we're talking about the most credible UFO sighting over the years, the Ariel School incident in Zimbabwe is one that many are still investigating today. Ariel School Incident. On the morning of September 16, 1994, at Ariel School in Rua, Zimbabwe, more than 60 children between the ages of 6 and 12 saw something unusual outside their classrooms during mid-morning break. While the teachers were inside in a staff meeting, students playing in the yard noticed one or more silver disc-shaped objects descending from the clear sky and appearing to land in a scrub field just beyond the playground boundary. The children revealed that the entire event lasted around 15 minutes, and when the children ran back to class to report what they had seen, the teachers at first dismissed their accounts. Once word reached parents, many returned to the school to talk with faculty, and a local UFO researcher started documenting the children's statements. Interviews and drawings collected soon after showed remarkable consistency. Children independently sketched silver craft and described what they believed were small beings emerging and moving in ways that frightened several witnesses. Some children said these figures appeared to communicate without speaking, conveying thoughts about human impact on the environment and the importance of caring for the planet. The incident drew even more attention when Harvard psychiatrist Dr. John Mack, known for his work with individuals claiming close encounters, traveled to Zimbabwe and interviewed many of these children. He found that their testimony was consistent and also that the event had a shocking impact on them. This is one of the most well-known and controversial mass UFO reports in history. But another shocking event was in Las Vegas, where a family found themselves face-to-face with aliens. Las Vegas backyard visitors. Overnight from April 30th into May 1st, 2023, a family in northwest Las Vegas reported something unusual in their backyard just after an object streaked across the sky. Responding officers' body cam footage recorded a bright green flash moving overhead that night, a visual that many locals also reported witnessing, although it was never confirmed as a UFO. Roughly 40 minutes after that light, a man called 911, telling dispatchers that something had fallen from the sky into his yard and that he and his relatives had seen two very tall, non-human creatures there. He described them as around 8 to 10 feet tall with large eyes and unusual features, insisting to the dispatcher that they're 100% not human. Police officers who arrived at the scene spoke with the family and walked their property, but found no physical evidence of aliens or any crash debris. In the body camera recordings, one responding officer admitted he was so nervous and mentioned that a partner had seen the same falling light. Officers canvassed the neighborhood and checked the backyard, but reported nothing unusual. Eventually, the case was closed, but it remains one of the most widespread UFO encounters in the world. The world couldn't believe it when a man in Virginia filmed multiple UFOs over the trees, strange triangular-shaped aircraft with bright lights hovering over the sky. This has raised questions about whether UFOs are real or not. What do you think is the truth? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. So, thanks for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.